Accounts receivables management. This is the fifth part of our discussion on accounts receivables management, and this is 154th module of financial management. In the previous modules, we have talked about credit policy. The main discussion of accounts receivables is actually about the discussion of credit policy. We have seen that credit policy has several elements related to the credit period, related to the percentage of discount, and related to the additional benefits that a business would get by extending the credit policy. In the last module, we talked about the comparison of the benefit of changing a credit policy, or rather extending the credit period in a way that we earn more return from that. We earn more profit out of that. We talked about the concept of contribution margin. हमने ये कहा था कि जब हम क्रेडिट पॉलिसी को चेंज करते हैं, यानी क्रेडिट पीरियड को एक्सटेंड करते हैं, तो उसके एक्सटेंड करने से हमारी सेल्स में इजाफा होता है. And this increase in sales actually results into more contribution margin, which is our profit. Now, then we compare this additional contribution margin from the additional sales that arises because of the change in the credit period with the opportunity cost of additional receivables which will be generated because of increase in sales. What we will be discussing in this module is a next step towards the application of extension of credit policy. In the first case, we assumed that the new credit policy will only be applicable to the new customers. But if we think about it, that as a company, as a business, we have increased the credit period and we are not allowing our existing customers to be benefited from that, then it seems not workable. यानी हमारे जो existing customers होंगे, उनकी भी ये ख्वाहिश होगी कि अगर नए customers को ज़्यादा credit period allow किया जा रहा है, तो उनको भी credit period ज़्यादा allow किया जाए. In this regard, we would see that if a new credit policy is also to be applied along with the new customers, of course, on the existing customers, then what will be the set of calculations for comparison of additional benefit and additional cost. Let's have a look at this data that we have. If the per unit selling price is 10 rupees, variable cost is 8 and the contribution margin is 2 rupees per unit, meaning it is 20% of sales, and the current level of sales is 2.4 million. So what we are saying now, that this 2.4 million sales will again be calculated with a new credit period, and we'll see that what is the impact of it. We are shifting from 30 days credit period to a 60 days credit period. And with this, the additional sales we expect to generate in terms of rupees is 360,000 rupees, and in terms of units, it is 36,000 units. Our opportunity cost is still 20%. Now, again, we have to compare the additional benefit. That additional benefit is the additional contribution margin. So we'll multiply the per unit contribution margin, which is 2 rupees, with the additional number of units that we will sell, which is 36,000. And we'll get an amount which is 72,000 rupees. And this is our additional benefit. This is our additional profit that we will make by extending the credit policy. Now, in contrast to this, what we have to compare it with is the additional cost. And for that, we need to first calculate the amount of additional receivables. So because the credit period here is 60 days, which means if we calculate the receivables turnover ratio, that will come out to be 6. And in that case, dividing 360,000 additional sales with 6, we get the amount of additional receivables, which is 60,000. The next step is then to calculate the variable cost of these additional receivables, which is 80%, of course, as we have seen. So 80% of 60,000 comes out to be 48,000 rupees. This is our additional receivables from the new sales. But as we have said that in this case, our new credit policy will be applicable also to the existing customers, and the existing sales amount is 2.4 million. So previously, because of 30 days credit and 12 times receivables turnover ratio, our average receivables were 200,000. But because of extending the credit period of the existing customers, our average receivables will rise to 400,000. यानी हमारे existing sales से जो receivables हैं, उनकी amount में 200,000 rupees का इजाफा हो जाएगा. 48,000 is the cost of additional receivables of new sales, and 200,000 is the addition in the existing sales receivables. यहाँ एक बात बहुत अहम है कि हम existing sales से बढ़ने वाली amount of receivables की variable cost नहीं लेते. उसकी वजह यह है कि this is the amount which we were previously getting, but because of the change in the policy, we will have to block this much amount in our receivables. So the total amount of accounts receivables which will increase by extending the credit period and adopting the new policy is 48,000 plus 200,000, and that makes it 248,000. यानी ये वो अमाउंट है जिसके ऊपर हमें इंटरेस्ट पे करना है या इसके ऊपर हमें अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट बेयर करनी है. एंड दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट is 20%. So multiplying this 248,000 with 20%, we get an amount of 49,600, as you can see on the screen. So in this case, the additional cost is 49,600. Now we conclude our discussion by comparing our additional benefit, which is the additional contribution margin. In this case, it is 72,000 rupees, with the final amount of opportunity cost, which is 49,600, and we see that our additional contribution margin is more than our cost. यानी इस नई पॉलिसी को अडॉप्ट करने से हमारा नेट कंट्रीब्यूशन मार्जिन पॉजिटिव होगा, यानी हमारा बेनिफिट हमारी एडिशनल कॉस्ट से ज़्यादा है. सो व्हेनेवर दिस इज़ द केस दैट वी आर लाइकली टू गेट मोर प्रॉफिट देन द इंक्रीज इन कॉस्ट, वी से दैट दिस न्यू क्रेडिट पॉलिसी इज़ रिकमेंडेड. यानी इस क्रेडिट पॉलिसी को अप्लाई करने से हम अपने रेवेन्यू के इंक्रीज़ के ज़रिए से अपने प्रॉफिट में मज़ीद इजाफा करने में कामयाब होंगे. सो in nutshell, we can say that in all these cases, we would recommend the new credit policy.